I said, guess who's back?
Champion really is in life. You just get right back up, and you don't let the negative people that won't even dare to do anything really keep you down, because you know where you're going in life and you know where that's taking you. So to me, this is important for everybody in life, that it takes courage to go for something that nobody believes that you could do. So this is where I'm here standing today and making everybody realize that you know you go in there and you chase a dream like you've never chased anything before, and you'll see something special happen.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Backchat TV. The man sounds very confident, man. Very confident. Ryan Garcia. I have to say, I really enjoy a lot of the things Ryan Garcia has said in interviews. He seems supremely confident. He's saying all the right things about getting up if you get knocked down, trying again. And like I said, he sounds really confident. I like the way he doesn't look fearful. He looks very loose, and I think he's really going in there with a mindset which is going to be extremely difficult to beat. I think he's got the right mindset for the most part. Um, Gervonta Davis has a more calculated mindset. I feel like Gervonta Davis has more fear than Garcia. And when I say fear, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way towards Gervonta Davis. I'm not trying to say Gervonta Davis is scared of Ryan Garcia. I feel like Gervonta Davis has shown more fear of losing. I think that Gervonta Davis was always kind of an easygoing guy, laid back, never really thought that he would get to this level. And as he's rised up in the ranks and he's becoming a star, he's just recently had a daughter as well, and he's kind of building himself now, because he really came from nothing. You've got to remember, he came from the streets, he came from nothing. Now he's seen more money than he ever thought he would see, and he's starting to take this boxing thing seriously. If you go back and see the times he missed weight and things like that, the times that Floyd Mayweather was just trying to get him to stay in the gym, all that stuff, that was the time he was not disciplined. Now he's getting all these accolades. You can see that he's really starting to grow and take this thing seriously. And with that comes the pressure of not losing. He wants to be undefeated like his mentor, Floyd Mayweather. He obviously doesn't want to lose. And now this whole boxing thing is starting to mean more to him. And I just see it in his interviews, in his attitude. A lot has changed. He's changed from that young kid with doesn't have a care in the world, not very disciplined, to someone who's now an adult, trying to be disciplined, trying to be a role model. And I've seen that change in him, which is a good thing. But at the same time, there is more pressure. And I feel like Gervonta Davis really does not want to lose. He's doing everything he can in training. And that can be a good thing, but it can also introduce that pressure that you don't want. Even though these professionals know how to deal with pressure, there is some symptoms of pressure that you can't hide and you can't get rid of, and it kind of shows in your body, more just being more tense. I feel like Gervonta Davis is more tense in his body, even when he's working out, when he's shadow boxing. There's a tense kind of there's not so much of a fluidity, and that comes from being a little bit nervous, being a little bit scared of losing, being a bit scared of some of Ryan Garcia's how would you say, strength, his left hook, his power, his height. Gervonta Davis, no matter what anyone says, he is very mindful of this. Yeah, I don't know how scared he is, but there is just a more heightened kind of fear of losing with Garcia than any of his other opponents. And when he fought Mario Barrios, there was a little bit of, that kind of not fear, but just being aware that this guy is bigger, a much bigger guy and taller. And I think that was the main thing. With Garcia, it's 100 times more fear, because he's got to look out for his power, his speed, his reflexes, his height, his jab, his amateur experience. It's a lot more than Mario Barrios, So I've just seen that. Whereas in Garcia, I don't see any fear at all. I feel like he believes that this is his moment. He's going to perform the best he's ever performed. He's going to go out there and obliterate Gervonta Davis. Is this the right mindset to have? You can look at it two ways. Sometimes when someone thinks that it's their destiny, that they were always meant to be at this position, as Garcia does, they often underestimate people, which is the most likely thing that Garcia is doing. But he probably doesn't know it, but he is definitely underestimating Gervonta Davis. But at the same time, sometimes it is destiny. You know, he does have that punching power. Gervonta Davis may just run into something, you know? You never know. But I would say two different ways I would break this fight down. I would say for Gervonta Davis, you have to make him the favourite. If you're being reasonable, you're being rational, you have to make him the favourite. Just look at the numbers. I think he's had 28 fights. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might not be sure on my numbers, but I think Gervonta Davis had like 28 fights to, 23 fights for Garcia. So that's, a good amount of fights extra. And, you learn so much with each fight. So think about how far ahead Gervonta Davis might be just because of having more fights. Now, what about the level of competition? Now, Mayweather did a very good job with his experience, stepping Gervonta Davis up slowly with different levels of fighters, different types of fighters, eventually fighting quite a good caliber of fighters. And, later on, well, you could say more recently, fighting some former world champions and contenders. And I think that was just the perfect way to build Gervonta Davis up. So he has a wealth of experience, which Garcia does not have, as in fighting top-level fighters. Garcia hasn't really fought many people at a top level in his 23 fights, whatever it is, apart from maybe Fortuna and obviously fighting Luke Campbell. So the fight with Luke Campbell, obviously, he got dropped. So the first time, if you look at it like this, the first time Garcia actually fought somebody decent in Luke Campbell, he got dropped. Right? This is not a bad thing, but it's an indication that he hasn't fought anyone at the top level. Also, Garcia kind of reminds me a little bit of Amir Khan. I don't mean that, in a bad way, anyone thinking, I'm not saying he's got a glass chin or anything like that. But what I mean is, just that kind of tall, lanky kind of a fighter who throws a lot of punches, very fast, very explosive. Early on in Amir Khan's career, he got a lot of knockouts, and that's the reason why he was held up as a great fighter. And as he got the opportunity to fight higher opposition, we saw the flaws. And I feel like the same thing may happen to Garcia. Although I think Garcia is actually a lot better. I think he's a bit smarter than Amir Khan. I think he'll adjust to better competition than Amir Khan did. Amir Khan kind of only had those fast shots and that speed, and he couldn't adjust when he fought fighters that were more experienced, more compact, more kind of a better all-round game. He just couldn't adjust properly when he started to step up in competition. The natural abilities of having speed and the volume of punches, and that's all he kind of had. So he just couldn't make that transition to fighting someone that had a more complete fighting style. Put it that way. I think Garcia can. I think Garcia has the skills to then get better. But I think he may have to take a loss against a high caliber, more complete fighter first to realize that he cannot just depend on his speed and his power. He is going to get found out when he makes mistakes. And in my view, he makes a lot of mistakes. So let's just look at some of the mistakes for a little while. So he often leans back because he's a taller guy. He leans back with his chin in the air. He does this when he throws his left hook. His left hook counter. He does this after he punches and he steps back. His head is often in the air. If you watch the Luke Campbell knockdown, that's exactly how he got caught. Head in the air, leaning back. Now, I know Campbell's a taller guy, so he was able to reach him, but you just can't be doing that all the time, because just because you think Gervonta Davis is a short guy and he's very small, he's not going to reach you. He's very quick and athletic, and his foot speed will make up the distance if you leave your chin open like that. So don't be thinking because he's small he can't reach you anyway. that foot speed kills. I've seen Gervonta Davis, you know, running 100 meters. He's fast. He's very, very fast. Not just hands, but foot speed. He will make up the difference. So that's one thing I'd like to see Garcia get a little bit better, getting his head off the line. I'd like to see him getting more head movement. He doesn't have much head movement. Having said that, Gervonta Davis doesn't have much head movement. So Gervonta Davis might be a sitting duck for that left hook or any of Garcia's fast, powerful punches. Both of them don't really have great head movement. I would say Gervonta Davis' head movement is a little bit better, and he slips punches when he needs to. Gervonta Davis, to me, just a little bit more professional, a little bit more compact. He's a lot harder to hit than you would think. Also, I feel like he's the more complete fighter. Floyd Mayweather's done a good job. Although he doesn't fight like Floyd Mayweather, you see a lot of that kind of, keeping your hands up and quick reflexes. He doesn't use shoulder roll that much, but I've seen him do it on occasions. So he's well schooled, Gervonta Davis. Garcia is just kind of he's also well skilled, but he's more a little bit more of a raw talent. And I think some of these fighters that are kind of like a raw talent, they just have a lot of ability. I think sometimes they have to lose to then fulfill their potential. So I feel like Garcia may have to lose to Gervonta Davis, and when he comes back after losing, he's going to be an absolute beast, because he's going to realize how important it is to not make mistakes. Anyone else who fights Garcia after Gervonta Davis is in for a long night. That's what I think. Like I said, Garcia has a lot of intangibles. How is Gervonta Davis going to deal with the height? He fights like a tall man, Garcia. I think that's going to be difficult for Gervonta Davis. He's got quick reflexes. He's got a great counter left hook, but I love the way he steps back before he lands that counter left hook, and it's so intuitive. He steps back, he throws that left hook. It's so quick and fast. Gervonta Davis could just run straight into that. I could see that happening. Having said that, I feel like Garcia having those natural abilities is not going to be enough to fill the skill gap, if you see what I mean. I feel like he has to lose to someone like Gervonta Davis to become a great all-round fighter. But I actually feel that Ryan Garcia might have more of a chance if he goes on the attack. I feel like he should go on the attack and go forward and force Gervonta Davis to deal with, his punches, a lot of his quick jabs, and just go forward, because I feel like Garcia has to force the counter that he's looking for. I don't think that just waiting and jabbing, throwing a jab on the outside is going to lead to him countering Gervonta Davis easily, because Gervonta Davis is aware of it. He's going to sneak. He'll take 8-9 rounds if it has to. Gervonta Davis is not in a rush to leap in and get countered. But I think if Garcia forced him going forward, Garcia could force Gervonta Davis to make a mistake. I think that Gervonta Davis is a very, professional fighter, and Garcia is going to have to force him to make a mistake. He's not going to just make a mistake going forward, overshoot a jab or a hook and get countered with the left hook from Garcia. He's not going to do that. If you're on the back foot waiting for that to happen, it may happen, but I just think Gervonta Davis is too high level for that. I think that Garcia is going to have to mix it up. Sometimes he has to fight long on the outside, controlling the outside and countering. But sometimes when the opportunity comes, he's going to have to go forward and take the center ring. He's going to have to go forward for it, use his speed advantage to take advantage of certain times when he can come forward and throw a few shots. But the idea of coming forward and throwing shots is to force Gervonta Davis to throw shots, because Garcia throws with a lot of power. Gervonta Davis is going to have to answer that power. If you go forward and put him under a lot of pressure, also being careful of getting countered yourself, obviously, then Gervonta Davis is going to throw a shot, step back, left hook counter, good night. That's what Garcia's looking for. So I think Garcia's going to have to disguise his attacks, because Gervonta Davis is such a high-level, complete fighter. I feel that he's going to have to disguise a lot of his attacks. Sometimes he's going to have to be on the back foot, like I said, looking for, just controlling the outside, stepping back, very sharp, controlling controlling the jab, and then sometimes he's going to have to go forward and looking to step back and counter. If he mixes it up right, Gervonta Davis won't know what style he's really going with, and he's more likely to make a mistake. Other than that, I don't see Gervonta Davis making a mistake. I think he's too aware. He's too aware. He's not looking to get hit with that power. He can be very elusive. He keeps his head tucked in a lot of the times, although he doesn't have great head movement. He keeps his head tucked in low. He uses his foot speed to get out of the way as well as to close the range. So he is going to be a lot harder to hit than I think Garcia thinks he will be. It's going to be interesting. I don't know. When I hear Garcia speak in interviews, I feel like Garcia is going to do it, to be honest. I feel like he's going to shock the world and he's going to do it. But when I look at, when I take the kind of the motivational speeches that Garcia makes, and I take that out of the equation, and I just look at them side by side, I feel like Gervonta Davis should win, because I feel like he's the more complete fighter. And I feel like this is a fight that Garcia will lose gracefully, if you see what I mean. He'll lose gracefully, and he'll learn more than any of the fights he's ever been in. The Luke Campbell knockdown and this Gervonta Davis loss, if he loses, will be the two fights that really make Garcia a star. But I feel like he's not quite there yet. He's kind of one of those people, like when you're coming up and you're knocking out everyone, you think you're unstoppable because you haven't faced anyone who is not going to make the mistakes that your opponent has made. All the people who fought Garcia, Gervonta Davis would have knocked them out as well, including Luke Campbell. So it's difficult to say. It's vice versa as well. I think Garcia would have beaten the majority of Gervonta Davis' opposition as well. But I just feel like there is a learning curve that Garcia has not really, he hasn't really experienced yet. So I have to edge Gervonta Davis. But like I said, when I watch them speaking, Ryan Garcia seems like he's got it in the bag. He says the right things. He's very confident. He's very loose. Gervonta Davis, the opposite. Very tight. A lot of fear there. It could be to his detriment. We'll have to see. Let me know what you think. I am going to edge Gervonta Davis. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm on to the next one.